Sorry, I'll be with you in a minute. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and very welcome guests. Isn't it great when we get a book we can't put down? A book where we ignore those chores that we should be doing, like the ironing or mowing the lawn. We grunt at our family members because all we want to do is get to the next bit to see what happens. And then, all of a sudden, that story has come to an end. We feel like we've been in another world, we've been on a journey. We feel disappointed, lost. All the reality starts crashing back in. All those chores that we haven't been doing. We try to extend the literacy experience by telling a friend how great this book is and lending it to them, hoping that they might read it and talk to us about it. They may do, they may not. But alone without our book, we can but just reminisce back to when we got our book from W.H. Smith from Amazon, when it was new and shiny. Its cover was lovely and smooth. Its pages and spine unwrinkled. And it had that lovely new smell that new books had. We can remember when the book made us cry. And we can remember when it made us happy. But that's all now in the past, and time has moved on. We forget about our book. Other books come along. But then one day, our book arrives back on our doormat. And we look at it, and for a moment, we don't recognise it. Its cover's crinkled. Its pages and spine are creased. Our book has aged. Our book has matured. Does this story seem familiar to you? A good book, yes, should be shared. But how can you share your book responsibly? How can you find the courage to let it go? I'm going to tell you. It's called Book Crossing. It's a website designed for sharing books. You take your book that you liked and you log all its details on the Book Crossing website. You say why you liked your book, and your book gets its own personal ID. See this as its passport to the world. You print off one of the Book Crossing printable labels and you write your ID on it. Your book is now ready for release. You've got to think of a suitable release site for your book. Train station, bus stop, maybe even a cafe. And you need to log on Book Crossing when you're going to release your book. Then, when the day comes, you take your book to your release site, you give it a hug, and you let it go. Meanwhile, while you're waiting for news of your book, you can get emails from other people who are sharing books. And if you're quick, you can get to one of these release sites and get one of these precious books. Your book reading experience does not have to end when you get to the last page. A book should be shared. Imagine your excitement when you get an email saying your book is on a plane to Singapore. Or it's been read by an Australian doctor in Cambodia. Don't think that Book Crossing, Tristan, are a dying species. I can tell you that books are alive and kicking right here under our noses in Surrey. My daughter belongs to a book club for teenagers. A thriving book club, so much so that they're getting funding for books. Can you imagine teenagers, these creatures wired into one electronic device and another, sharing, reading and enjoying books? And do not think that books are endangered. Did the computer make the paperless office? No. Nor will the Kindle push books onto the endangered list. for there is nothing that feels the same as having a book in your hand. I think it says something about you. It says, I can read. I can read so well, I've chosen this big book. I am so good at reading, I can select books. I am a selector of books. And I don't need any of your entertainment or company, because I have a book. So go home, dust off those books. Do not leave them abandoned in lofts. Thousands of books are abandoned every year in charity shops, in the lofts. Is that fair? A bookshelf is not a suitable enclosure for a fictional novel. A book needs to spread its pages and be free. See it as enrichment for books. After all, there is nothing like a crinkled, broken-backed book to show a book has truly lived.